Hello, my name is Alejandro Sandoval, and I am the president of the Mexican Financial Executives Institute in Juarez. And I'm going to give you a summary of the press bulletin issued by the national president, Mr. Jose Domingo Figueroa Palacios, this week. Well, our forecast for the GDP in Mexico was reduced from 2.4% to 2.3%, given the slow initiation of this month of this year. We had a bad closing 2023 and a bad January. February was kind of steady and March was a better month, but we will be evolving this data and this forecast in the following months, given whatever data comes in. At the end of March, the Ministry of Finance issued the criteria or the pre-criteria for 2025 budget, and there's an increase in the net expenditure budget. And for the income to be expected, there will be a deficit for 2024 from 4.9 that was expected before to 5%. Actually, we have 2 billion new debt, 2 billion pesos new debt in Mexico this year. And obviously, this will impact in our perspective the following year. The Ministry of Finance states that they will reach the 3% deficit for 2025, but the implications as to how to reach that are not clear, or at least not credible. In terms of tax objectives, we haven't seen since the 80s this type of indebtedness, and then the credit qualifications could be aiming low. In another issue, Pemex, our national oil company, was mentioned in the last bulletin with some criticism, given that it has received around 105 billion dollars during the last 6 years to support its financial conflicts. But suddenly it happens that it has decided to cut its exports 46% in the following years to support the national refining system. This will cut its gross profit in $2.6 billion and making it more complex to reach its financial goals. Actually, the production of oil has been decreasing, so this will also provide a lot more stress to the company. Finally, there are two legal processes at Congress, at the federal Congress, being looked for approval by the federal government. One is through the Amparo law, which is the law and the type of legal actions against official acts or laws that might affect human rights. And the other one is over pensions. For further information, there's the bulletin for it. Over the forecast, then, the GDP growth is expected to be 2.3% this 2024. Inflation, 4.2%, which implies a very low decrease of inflation in its path toward the end of the year. The debt will be 5% of GDP, a very high position given the indebtedness of these 2 billion pesos. The monetary policy and its rate will be 9.75%. Right now it's at 11% rate. The Social Security formal employment will grow 567,000 positions. Exchange rate, 18 pesos per dollar at the end of the year. And the current account, our trade deficit, 1.10% in deficit position. For 2025, we expect GDP to grow to 1.8%. Inflation will be reduced to 3.77%, which implies that we will not be reaching the goal of our central bank, which is 3%. Then the debt against the GDP will be 3.5%. The monetary policy rate will be 7.75%, given the slow decrease on the inflation. The formal employment will grow 500,000 employees. Exchange rate at the end of year 2025, 18 pesos, $80. And the current account, the trade deficit, 1%, steady as usual. Finally, for the first time, IMEF looked at all the CFOs registered at IMEF and made this survey asking some questions on their perspective within their company. And these are the answers. How do you feel given the elections and potential political changes this year in Mexico? 79% is worried and being cautious given uncertainty. 18% has trust and is optimistic on the opportunities to ahead, and only 3% have not considered these issues. What is your level of trust in the Mexican economy this electoral year? 66% say that their confidence is conditioned towards the uncertainty of the politics and economics. 34% consider that there is plenty of trust on the economy and how it can adapt itself. How do you believe elections might impact your role and your actions as CFO and decisions? Well, 67% consider that there might be significant changes that might affect their financial decisions. 30% consider that there's no impact at all, and only 3% have not think about it. How do you believe the strategy? How are you managing your strategy against volatility, uncertainty on this electoral year? Well, 64% consider that they are taking a more conservative position. 23% are saying that they're prepared for any contingency. And 13% say that they haven't developed any specific strategy. The fifth question, the company represented, is it investing in 2024? 65% only what is required, 17% less than required, 6% nothing, and 12% over the requirements for thinking on the following years. And the final question, are you asking for loans for this investment? Nothing, 62%. 50% or less of what is needed on your investment, 23%. More than 50% on what is needed on your investment, 9%, and your full investment, only 6%. Then, and therefore, we can link both surveys and consider that CFOs are taking and thinking over a more conservative approach. That's it for this summary. Thank you very much for your attention, and we'll be in touch.